I got my first Volkswagen in 1966. It was a used 62 anthracite gray Type 1. And I'd gotten into it because I had been racing a 56 Corvette in slaloms, in gymkhanas. And the fellow that was beating everybody was a fiberglass dune buggy with a Corvair, but it was the handling that impressed me. And so I always said at some point in time, I need to beat him, so I need to get a Volkswagen. And we bought this, and it was just a car at that point in time. I didn't know anything about VWs. A couple years later, by chance, I went to work for the Volkswagen distributor as their complaint department, and really got involved at that point in time, and have remained involved ever since. So a long time with Volkswagen, along with motorcycles, which is my other thing that I've been involved with vocational-wise. It was a happenstance situation. Back in 1990, I decided to, after going to Bonneville since 1962, I decided to build a car to race, which the car we chose was a 74 Super Beetle. And I wanted to become the fastest production-bodied Volkswagen Bug. The speed at the time we started that we knew about was 129. And I did an extensive amount of research seeing who has gone fast and what kind of a car. Not a lot of Volkswagens had raced land speed racing at that point. And in doing so, I discovered the very early VWs that had raced: Dick Beath, Mel Ellis, Tom Brook. And of course, they were all 36 horse engines. And we just recorded the information. And then we went and raced our Super Beetle. We didn't become the fastest one, we became the second fastest one. So we got close, but no cigar. Then, many years later, Rich Kimball from Hot VWs contacted me, wanting to know what would be involved for him and some of his friends to come out and bring their old Volkswagens out to see how fast they would go. And I thought of the 130 Club challenge, that 130 Club that the USFRA puts on at World of Speed, which would be ideal. It's a very street-oriented class. The problem with this was that you had to have 3-point seat belts and S-rated tires and a fire extinguisher. And I knew most of the vintage guys would not want to poke holes for extra seat, or any seat belts, some of them, and buy expensive tires to go 75 miles an hour, 70 miles an hour at that time is what we were thinking. So I talked to Tom Brook, who was still involved in racing, but not with VWs. Well, he was too. He was running Rabbit Caddies. And he mentioned he still had some of his components from back in the 60s, but he didn't have a car. Well, I had a car, so he became the first one to race in the challenge. And we created this class. I talked to the USFRA, explained to them that these cars, with one exception, had never been above 100 miles an hour. So why did we need 130 to 150 mile an hour tires? The beautiful thing about the USFRA is they said, yeah, that makes sense. And they allowed us to use, if we were under 100 miles an hour, we could use a lap belt and S-rated tires, which are up to 112, and they would be happy with that. That made it financially possible for people to join and participate without having to build an out-and-out race car, which is here the DLRA. You guys have to build an out-and-out race car. They do not have this more casual racing to encourage people to come in, which is what the 130 Club is. It's to encourage people to get started in land speed racing. Tom built the first car. Actually, he and one other fellow were the only first people that raced in it for the first couple of 3 years. But then it's been slowly evolving, gaining more and more aficionados, and this last year it just went crazy. We had, not counting just the 36 horse, but it's bringing more people with VWs into land speed racing in these easy to enter street classes, the 130 Club and later the 150 Club. And we had 29 different Volkswagens racing at World of Speed this year, which was just, it was warming to my heart that people were becoming involved. It was my way of giving back. Volkswagen and the Volkswagen world has been very good to me. I've been involved. I was involved in the design of the Sandwinder sedan Baja bug. I did the initial drawing for the cow look profile bug that's in the 75 issue. Excuse me. I've been involved on the perimeter of Volkswagen for many years. I wrote a column for Hot VWs back in 71, 72 for an organization that started called the Volkswagen Drag Racing Association. And it was only lasted for a year, so it involved all the names at that time, the Lowrys, the Schleys, the Bergs, but they were still very competitive with each other, and the organization just did not maintain its direction. So I've been around the outside forever, but the 36 horse challenge has been my way of giving back to Volkswagen. There's no money involved from our standpoint. Anything where there's been costs involved have been donated by me or other people who volunteered to provide the decals for the one club. I purchased the hats. When they run out, we'll figure out how to do it again. But it's been my way of just saying thank you to Volkswagen. And in return, it's been very rewarding for me. It's been really neat to see how it's been embraced. When Steve first called me, I was hoping that somebody in Australia would take it up. I had been in contact with the DLRA. They knew of nobody who had ever raced a Volkswagen in the years that they'd held the event. And then Steve called me one day from Rapmuller, now Volksmuller, and was interested. And he followed through. He didn't just talk to me about it. He progressed with it and created a car, actually two cars, the convertible and the stone stock bug that now belongs to John Winiger, and went racing. And now it became a truly international challenge. And that's even more gratifying, and it makes it more fun. The fellas who have the stone stock record in the United States are rooting for you guys to take it away, because as soon as you take it away, now they have a goal that they can go after. The challenge is so relaxed, so casual. There are no technical inspections other than the safety inspections provided by the sanctioning bodies. Any monies that are spent with the sanctioning bodies, but not with the challenge. And the competition is more of a, what can I do for my personal best speed? That's where the challenge comes in. Whether you ever set a record or not, it's not important. How fast can I make my Volkswagen go? And the people, as we could see this last year at World of Speed, and again here, by my count, had the Speed Week here at Lake Gardner not been rained out, we would have had 12 VWs racing. You know, I mean, it was a fantastic number. And we can only hope that they can either reschedule the event for April, or that the event on the clay surface at Lake Omeo is able to be put together. And as of right now, it sounds like the Omeo City folks are very supportive, and I hope it happens, because that will actually even be a better course for the Volkswagens and much more convenient and inexpensive in which to participate. Centrally located between Melbourne and Sydney, near Canberra, it'll just be ideal. It's getting scary. I think the 36 horse challenge will actually not grow substantial. There'll be one or two new people each year, and probably one or two fall off, but they're migrating into the big block class, and that means the Volkswagen land speed racing will continue. And the challenge is important for the 36 horse people, but I'm just glad to see the Volkswagen world beginning to embrace it. Hot VWs this year sent their own writer out, R.K. Smith, to cover the event instead of just relying on me to provide the information. And he walked away with just the most amazing experience, he said, of his almost of his Volkswagen career, because he said everybody was having fun, the camaraderie was excellent, and he said he's been to drag races that are close. Well, one of the things on land speed racing, Lake Gardner, Bonneville, they're far away from any population source. To go land speed racing, you have to make a commitment. Drag racing, You can have it in a community. You'll get all the local people to come. Nobody from far away comes. And he says he's been to Volkswagen drag races where there's 12 cars. Yet here he is out in the middle of nowhere on a barren, somewhat hot, arid desert, and there's 29 people that have made this migration, this journey. And it's just been, he said it was so much fun. And he definitely was planning on coming back. And by the way, the World of Speed last year, we got rained out on our last day. So we lost a day of racing to the water, which is a fairly common occurrence. It happens every few years, or sometimes a couple years in sequence, as it's happened here at Lake Gardner. Oh, it's been just a warm welcome from everybody, which I was actually looking for. My journey here was, the priority was to meet the people involved in the racing, and the Australian people in particular. I've met numerous Australians over the years because they come to Bonneville. And I've also worked at a Harley-Davidson shop where we had the motorcyclists from Australia come over and go to Sturgis. And without exception, everybody I've ever met from Australia has left me with a warm feeling. And so my goal was to come and embrace that. Secondly, to go to Lake Gardner and see them race, but primarily to come and meet Steve Miller, yourself, Bill Moore, Ryan Warby, there's John Weniger, Greg Mackey, an amazing gentleman with an amazing history. I wish I'd been able to get out to meet Mick Percy in Adelaide, but it's not going to happen. There's just so many people here that have an interest in what I'm involved with, and they've all been warm to me, and it's been everything I'd hoped. I'm going to get some photographs of the Roo Shooter, the Gia. I've already shot the car Greg Mackey was going, and hope to see John Weniger at the end of this next week. And also, hopefully I can find out how to contact Mark Holyoke and get photographs of his car, so I can put them in the history file I maintain on VWs and land speed racing. This just gives a good, well-rounded idea of what's involved, who's involved, and I can follow them for the rest of their land speed racing career.